as we bring in perhaps somebody the Bears are staring right at out of Wisconsin, a Badger through and through, Tanor Bortolini, one of the centers, one of the offensive linemen whose name you're going to hear called sometime between April 25th and 27th. Tanor, thanks for making time for the CHGO Bears podcast. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Nick, you want to cut right to the chase, or you want me to cut right to the chase? Have you talked to the Bears, Tanor? Let's go right there. And if you have, how did that go? What did they want to know about you?
I have talked to the Bears at the Senior Bowl, and I think at the Combine. I can't recall. Just a quick lot of meetings at the Combine. But pretty sure it went well. Again, when you're doing these meetings, you're doing a lot of them. But it felt like the Bears went well, and it'd be a great spot to land.
And Tanor, I mean, the Senior Bowl experience, how was that for you? Because obviously there's a lot of good talent. There's a lot is made of the one-on-one. So just kind of tell us what that experience was like for you. And also, who's the toughest guy to block there down in Mobile?
It's a great experience. You get a lot of work versus really talented competition. And it's 3 days of it. You go from game planning to play some of the best in college football every week in, week out. And to everybody there is the best at what they do. And that's why they're there. So it was really good to get some work against some really great players. And the one-on-ones are obviously what they show the most of. And I think Michael Hall, Jr. from Ohio State's a really good player. Got a lot of quickness and power to him where he did a lot of things well. I think really helped himself out there.
So, Tanor, you grew up in Wisconsin. I think we got to just get in here. Were you a diehard Packer fan? And, of course, you'll play for any NFL team. But I think Bears fans, that's what we do. It's kind of pathetic. But people do want to know, Are you if you were a member of the Green and Gold, did you have some weird respect for the Bears all at the same time?
Absolutely. I think, it's a team you play twice a year, every year. And I grew up 30 minutes east of Green Bay, so grew up a pretty big Packer fan. So it always came down. I remember watching, I think it was Randall Cobb score a late touchdown to beat the Bears. I don't know what year it was. It was a long time back, but definitely been a great rivalry with Chicago. So no matter what happens, be happy to be on either side of it, but definitely a team I've watched closely for a long time.
Now, Tanor, obviously with that rivalry, when regardless of where you go, is that kind of what you want to be a part of? Something where there's a historic rivalry where, obviously you want to be on the better end of it, and the Packers have been as of late, but when you're envisioning wherever you might go in the NFL, is that something that you kind of just want to be a part of?
Absolutely. To be a part of a historic rivalry where so many guys, so many players, coaches have all been a part of it. And it goes way back. I mean, there's hundreds a year, about 100 years worth of players that have played in these games, in these rivalries. And to be a part of that is something truly incredible and something that you have to take a step back to appreciate.
So anybody that gets to the NFL is a great athlete, and you've got basketball in your background. Shout out to Dane Brugler, who's got your high school stats in there. I believe you averaged 13 and 10 as a senior, which is a nice job. But more specifically on the football field, you played at a very interesting time. A number one NIL coming into the game, but more importantly, I think it was during COVID. You're forced on the field a little bit, I think, earlier than expected, and then you made the transition from guard to center. So just talk about your journey going from, how much weight did you end up putting on? How difficult was it at the start? And how much different do you feel now?
So it's been all over the place. I've played a little bit of everything in college, and I think that's the best part about it is that I got a lot of experience playing different positions, got a showcase that I could. So started at center, started light. I was a young guy. I came out of a small high school called Kewanee, Wisconsin. But I was probably about 280 in high school. So, going to the Big Ten, there's a pretty big jump in weight. So the first game I ever played, I was 285 maybe. So, it was tough. You're going to get some big guys. I think the nose tackle's 330, 340. So, it's a battle out there. But it was good, really good to get that experience as a young guy. And then gained some weight, was about 305, played right tackle. Went to 315, played both guards, and then dropped back to 305 this year and played center. So really great. I think the best thing about playing those spots is you get to learn what the guys around you need to be successful. And that way when you play right guard, center, left guard, you know exactly what the guys around you need to be great, and you know exactly what they need to give you to succeed.
Tanor, we had a guest on yesterday who made the analogy for offensive linemen playing on their right side to the left side is trying to learn to wipe your ass with your opposite hand. What is that a good analogy when trying to talk about that, or when you go switching sides? Is that something that's a big adjustment, or how would you describe it?
I don't know if that's the analogy that I would use, but I would definitely say there's a little bit of a difference to it. It's just it's getting the mentality of it. Just the hands are opposite. Like, you're just so used to doing things a certain way with certain steps, like the run call. Now you're on the play side versus the back side. The first time you hear that, it's a little different. Your job, your technique, your assignment's going to be a little different. But honestly, once you get the hang of it, once you feel comfortable playing both sides, it's not as bad to flip back and forth. But that first time, definitely playing in a left-hand stance was an interesting one.
Where are you most comfortable right now, Tanner?
I think anywhere on the interior. I feel really confident in my ability to succeed there. And whatever a team needs on the inside, I'd be more than happy to play.
Go ahead, Nick. Yep.
Tanner, there's probably so many things that for the center position that make it difficult, but what would you say is like the most difficult thing about being the center? Obviously being the interior, the guy that's going to call out, the call at the line of scrimmage, sometimes help the quarterback. But what's the most difficult thing about playing the center position?
I think it's honestly the mental side of it. You are in charge of, making sure everybody on the offensive line is on the same page, is doing the right thing and the best thing, because they're all ride or die by your call. So you have to be the most prepared week in, week out to put those guys in the best position to succeed. So I think that's really an underrated part of playing center, because offensive line, you think they're nasty, big guys, but the mental side is a really big part of it. And I think after the quarterback, you have to know the second most out of anybody out there. So making sure that we put our guys in the best positions on each play, each situation is really important. I think really the toughest part about it.
So David Bresson in our chat is saying, according to the Beast, everybody reads the Beast. Shout out again, Dane Brugler. Tanner is highly intelligent, recruited by Harvard and Yale. How smart are you, Tanner? Let's go here. What would you say? If you weren't playing football, what would you do?
So I majored in real estate here. So at Wisconsin, and I love that. Both my parents are kind of in that industry, so I'd probably do something along the lines of that. What specifically? Real estate's a huge industry, so I don't know exactly what I would choose, but definitely something in there.
Can you
Tanner,
build things?
obviously,
you got building talents. If me and you, Tanner, let's get a 3 flat in the city. We're gonna duplex it down. We'll do it. Can you do that type of stuff? Or are you more the brains behind the situation?
We could do it. We have to figure out our financials. What are we going to be making? Is it going to work out? Is our rate of return going to be big enough? It'd take a little bit, probably a little more talking than we're going to be doing now, but we could definitely get something done.
And it's a tough time right now with the interest rates high. This is what people want to know. But hey, I think there are diamonds in the rough out there that we can go find. So I'm excited about this opportunity. After you're done playing, Tanner, we'll wait. The market might change in the next 10, 12 years.
Hopefully rates drop in the next 10, 12 years, but we'll see.
There you go.
I know exactly who I'll be hitting up once that happens, Tanner. Going back actually really quickly to your college days, and obviously there's some really good rivalries in the Big Ten. I went to the University of Iowa, so did Mark. I think Iowa recruited you looked into you, correct? Everyone makes mistakes, but that's okay. But Tanner, talk about those rivalries. Like, which one stood out to you the most? Is there a game that stood out to you the most during your playing time at Wisconsin?
I think the Minnesota one's the biggest one for us, and this year to go up there and win it back in Wisconsin fashion, being able to run the football and run it well was really great. And being from Wisconsin, you really take pride in being able to run the ball and our ability to run the ball. And then we transition offenses, so more of an air raid, but still really being able to run into high level, again, I think like 200 plus yards. I'm not sure what the exact number was, but really dominate on the ground. Was a great way to go take it back at their place. Something that I'll never forget.
So let's take a look at the athletic part of your game versus the putting on weight. Like, how have you balanced? Like, everyone talks about your athleticism, but now like you put more on, you can't move as well. Like, how have you strategized that part of like getting comfortable? Like, this is where I need to be. This is where I'm most effective.
I think the best part about playing small school ball is that you get to play a lot of sports and I think develop more as an athlete. So I was never very heavy, but once I felt like I was an athlete, and that because of that I was able to get to where I'm at today. So then I was just putting on weight, and obviously you're going to lose a little bit. You're not going to be quite as quick as you were when you were 280, but you're also getting stronger, more powerful. So it's just a trade-off you got to make, and then you got to find that happy medium of where you feel the quickest and the strongest, but not where you're really giving up too much of either or.
And so the other side of this, like, Tanner, talking to you right now, you've got a measured, balanced, whole base to you. How do you, on game day or even in practice, turn on the "I have to be nasty and dominate you" button that you need to be successful, right?
I think it's just the mindset. You don't got to be too wired all the time. I think that's really mentally and physically draining. But when you get out there, really locking in, really just focusing on going to really beat the guy across from you and beat him every play. I hate losing. I'm a really competitive person. So that's what really gets me going. Is if I lose, I'm really mad about it. I'm heated. So the best part about football is it's a physical, violent sport, and you can go take that out on the guy the next play. So it's great, and I think that's really what drives me to keep going, and really gets me in that right mentality.
And the center part of it, bonding with your quarterback. What's your strategy with getting to know the guy who's putting his hand on your butt, for lack of a better way of putting it? I mean, that's a special bond right there. Like, you guys got to be together.
I think it's doing things off the field. Honestly, I think on the field, you're gonna do all that, but I think off the field, if you can go do things outside of football, get to know him better as a person, and you understand each other a little better. That way, when you get on the field, it's just easier to connect, easier to know what he's thinking. So this year we had Tanor Mordecai, and he came up to my house a couple times, and we went out together in Madison. But I think it's just bonding off the field, where if you can get close to that guy, get comfortable, know him as a person, you really know what he's thinking out there, and then you're both on the same page.
Tanner, really quickly, I see some people in the chat. They're wondering, like how many meals did you have to eat? Like, what are you realistically eating? Can you just go all out? And then, like, how does that work? I'm someone who's been trying to put on weight for forever now, but like, what was that like for you? What are you eating? How often are you eating? What was that plan like?
So training was tough because here's the hardest part about eating healthy is that it's like less calories. So if you're eating really clean, you have to eat a ton. So I'm eating I was eating 5 meals a day and 5 solid size meals a day. And it's not always the most fun. But the good part is it's good food, and good food's not always the hardest to eat. But yeah, probably five meals, and then you have snacks throughout the day. And the snacks aren't crazy, fruits, salad, cashews, almonds, whatever you want. But you got to eat probably at least 5 solid meals a day, which it adds up. It might sound fun, but then on your third one, you're like, damn, this is a lot.
Well, taking notes here.
Shots fired in the chat. Nick just asked Braggs, LOL. That's not nice. He's not with us today, Tanner, but he's our rotund co-host. All right, let's bring Adam Hogue. Went to Wisconsin. He's the leader of this damn podcast, but he rarely works on Fridays. That's not exactly true. There he is. Hogue, welcome. You get to talk to your teammate here.
I was watching. You guys are doing a great job as an interview. Tanner, I just had to jump in here because I felt bad leaving you with this Iowa guy and this Northwestern/Iowa guy. We can't figure out who he's rooting for on any given day. So I just, I want to come in here and just represent. Thanks for jumping on the show today. We greatly appreciate it. And how have we not pointed out the hair? Come on, he's got look at Tanner's. He's got the haircut.
Oh, wow.
He just he
was hiding the mullet
a little bit.
Tucked away.
Dude, I mean that's a Big Ten offensive line mullet right there, without a doubt. Hey, the Bears already got T.J. Edwards and Jack Sanborn on the roster. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
Two good players right there. Wisconsin, man. Good linebackers.
How long have you been rocking the mullet for the record here?
A while. So we had freshman haircuts. This is before we didn't give them any more. But anyway, I got my freshman haircut. I looked in the mirror and I was like, damn, I got a receding hairline. I got to do something crazy before I lose it all. So I started growing a mullet. So I've been rocking with it probably since my sophomore year. Every time I cut it off, I'm like, I should have done that. And then we grow it right back out. But I love it. Business in the front, party in the back. It's good.
Tanner, I heard you mention Michael Hall earlier. Who else was tough in the Big Ten? Like your toughest matchups that you had to go up against?
Johnny Newton's a terrific player. I didn't have to block him quite as much, but he's outstanding. He gave us a lot of trouble. I mean, he's just good in one-on-one situations, and they do a really good job at putting him in a lot of those. We're really isolating him on the guards. And even if you beat him, 45 out of 50 times, those 5 he's going to make you pay. And that's, I think, the really big thing about him. But he's a really great player, and I think he'll really do great at the next level. So we'll see.
So did NIL change your college life, Tanner? Are you rich? Let's what was the impact, if any, on you? Because
I'm not rich. We don't. The offensive linemen, we're not too big on NIL. I was just, we get a couple free food deals, and I'm all about that. That way you can go eat for free. So we've done like Mission Barbecue, Portillo's. So like I actually like that. Just go throw up a picture on your Snap or Instagram story, and then they give you free food. It's a trade off, and it's a big win for the O-line. I mean, anytime you don't have to pay for a $20 meal is a win for me. But no, not a whole ton. I think it's just different now with a lot of guys transferring in and out. It's like we've had more transfers both ways, probably than ever before. So college football is a little different, but I think that's just how it's going to be from now on.
Yeah, and you made the decision to sit out the bowl game. I'm sure that couldn't have been easy for you because you want to be out there with your guys, but you also are looking for your future. What went into the mindset going through ultimately making that decision?
Absolutely, I think it was just for me. Whatever I was going to do, I was going to be all in on. And talking to the guys that we had declared last year, talking to the guys in our room, just felt comfortable that Jake Renfro, who's the backup center, he was ready to play, and that he would do well in that situation, and that I was just ready to move on, dive right into training, and be all in on what I wanted to do next and what my next opportunity would be.
Yeah.
Tanner, how would you just describe what it's like to be in the offensive line room? Because you guys are a unit. You guys win and lose together. It's a collective that you need to be on point and have the right communication. But what's it like being one of five on a starting line and just kind of going through the daily activities of just being a part of the O-line?
It's awesome. I love it. And I mean, the best part about an offensive line is like you're with those guys all the time, every day, on the field, off the field. And we had a really good group of guys at Wisconsin. Every Thursday before the game, we'd all go get O-line dinner somewhere. So the whole room goes to one restaurant. Like you can imagine how many seats that is, like 17, a table of 17. It's not very easy to go a lot of places, but we take the whole group out. Everyone gets to eat together, talk, socialize. And we had a really tight group of guys there. But I think the best part about it is that if you can do all these things off the field, you can build that trust that really translates to on the field success.
Tanner, give me a little optimism here about the future of our Badgers. So what's the biggest difference that Luke Fickell and that new coaching staff has brought in?
They got a whole new intensity and mindset, and I really love it. I think they'll be successful. I think it just, part of a rebuild is it takes time. Going from power run to air raid is probably about as polar opposite as you could be. So in order to get, the pieces that you need and they get everyone used to doing different things that they're probably used to doing, it takes a little time. But I'm really excited. I think we got some really good players. Talking to some of the guys in Madison, they think it's going to be really good. So I'm excited. I think the team's going to be really good, and I wish them nothing but the best.
Let's before Hogue leaves and before you leave, Tanner, let's talk about the incredible season that the Northwestern Wildcats had last season. I mean, most people thought they weren't even going to do anything. They somehow made a bowl game. The Cats, they were a feisty cat, were they not?
No, they were, and props to them, man. I didn't think they were going to be like anything like after like the whole fiasco at the beginning of the year, but I think that just shows that the locker room can rally, players can get behind a certain cause that you can really do, whatever you put your mind to. So shout out to those guys.
Tanner, before I jump out of here, I do one more serious football question for you. Because I saw in the Beast too that you like embrace the center position, the responsibility of the calls. I know you touched on this a little bit earlier, but just why is it that you embrace that? Because some guys just even at the NFL level, they just don't quite ever get comfortable with it. And I feel like that's such a key to the position, especially at the NFL level with everything going on defensively.
No, I love being part of that. It's like a chess match out there. The mental side is something that I've always taken pride in, that I feel like I'm able to do and do at a high level. But there's no one I trust more than myself out there to make all those calls. So I think, when I played guard, we had a great center, Joe Tittman, phenomenal guy. But there's been a couple times we're on the field and he makes a call. I'm like, who? You sure? Like, this is what we're doing. And it's, is you're a guard, you can't change that. And if you're the center, you can. But Joe was great. But so we'd talk, we'd watch the film together and, debate what we should call that week. But just, once or twice it popped up. But I always trusted that I'd be able to put our offensive line in the best position to succeed. And I felt very confident doing that.
Is the key to doing that just a ton of film study, I'm assuming? Obviously knowing the strengths of the team and what you can do, but it sounds like you're putting a lot of time off the field to be able to have confidence that when that time comes, you know what you're doing. Absolutely. You have to watch film, put time in, see what looks we're going to be getting from. Do they bluff pressures? What's their pressure indicators? When do we think guys are going to be coming? And once you got a good grip on that, you can really slide to it, protect the quarterback the best, and put the guys in the best position to succeed. And it takes a lot of film, a lot of off the field
time and effort and stuff outside of practice, but it all pays off in the long run.
Do you like
Tanner,
that?
really quickly? Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I'm just curious if he likes that. I think I might struggle with that myself, Tanner. I think I like the playing part, but that part might not be my forte.
Yeah, it's not always easy, but failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So, it's just the way it goes, and you always got to be putting yourself in the best position to succeed.
Really quickly, Tanner, like, I'm sure there's been times when you've gone to the line of scrimmage, you're calling out something. Maybe the Mike linebacker's like, bullshit, this guy doesn't know what he's like. How often does that happen when you get to the line of scrimmage where there's like this kind of chess match that's going on between you and, the Mike linebacker?
Good. And then you'll see him bluff. If we bluff a cadence or something, they'll trigger down. Then we'll call it out. You'll see him try to change it. Maybe he's fake changing it so that we change it. And it's just, as soon as you adjust to something, they adjust to it, and then they adjust to it. And it's, it's just football. It's the chess match, the game within the game. But I love that part of it.
Hey, Tanner, we appreciate the time. Best of luck. I think everybody who's watching this is hoping that you land in Chicago. The Bears have some opportunity there at center and on the offensive line. So you could.
I was gonna say, Tanner, we got you. We do like kind of a Bears big board. We got you at 74. I personally hope you go higher than that for you, but 74, the Bears are picking at 75. So I'm just saying it's right there.
Right there.
Right. I love it. So, honestly, a lot of things you've said here resonate, I think, a lot with people who love offensive line playing, especially the center position. So,
and lastly, we do have to ask this on the way out. Do you know who Caleb Williams is?
Yes. Got to talk to him a little bit at the combine. It was a very nice guy to talk to in the 5 minutes that I had to exchange with him. So,
there we go. Nice guy. There. That's inside information. Damn it. Hey, Tanner, thanks for making time, man. Good luck in these final 6 days. Staying calm. I don't know what is your strategy going to be on game day. You gonna have the phone like on your lap, or are you gonna? How do you do these things?
I haven't thought about that much into it. I'm letting my parents take care of the planning part for the most part. I just focus on doing the training, getting drafted, and they can take care of all the other stuff. So
yeah.
Good luck, man.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, Tanner.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
We all silly like the mayor.